Welcome to Lifestyle Buzz Today with Orlando. Fresh, innovative, entertaining talk about topics we are all in one way or another involved with. And now here's your host, Orlando Burgos.
Well, hello, my fellow voters. And no, don't get your hopes up. We're not turning into a political show at all. But it is what it is. On Tuesday, we are all going to participate and decide the future of our country. So, whoever happens to be the winner, congratulations, good luck, and if it's part of your deal, great. But please, let's move on to better things, no matter who's in power, okay? Welcome to the new episode of the Connection for Better Living, or also known as the Antidote, without a shot, just a pill, for boring radio. Man, oh man, talking about boring. It really is really getting to me. How about you, Mike? I mean, don't you think that this political fever is so over the top negative?
Yeah, I hate it. I mean, we're not a political show. We're not making any endorsements either way. But, it shows about lifestyle, and my lifestyle has been dramatically not improved by all this election coverage.
Like you go out with friends, and there's always somebody who brings out the political scene that's going on today. And you know what? What is really worse is the fact that they're close friends of yours. You have known them forever. You know their leanings too, and it has never mattered. It has never been something that you concern yourself with. But all of a sudden, it's like right there, like a ugly something facing you. And what do? I mean, you cannot be just a dummy. And we're all humans. So somebody says something directly that they're trying to aim it at you, and you cannot help it but answer back sometimes. You shouldn't, but we do.
Yeah, and to be honest, this is one of the. I don't know if it is, but it definitely feels like one of the longest campaigns in my lifetime. It seems like this election has been going on for 2.5 years, and I don't watch that much TV, and I'm not saying that like, oh, I don't watch TV, but I don't have cable, and so when I was watching a lot of these Dodgers World Series games, it was just ad after ad after ad. I mean, I was just like, hey, can you show me a car commercial? Like, I'm just so sick of all of it.
I want to see a hamburger come in front of me. I know what you're saying. That's what I'm addressing, is the fact that we need to compose ourselves, okay? I tell you what the deal is. Nobody should have the right to preach at you that your ideas are bad. You should know you're an adult. You're entitled to make mistakes. It's like I've always said it. Like, hey, listen, if somebody wants to do something harmful to themselves, is within their rights to do so. We can try to prevent it a little bit, but no. In the meantime, we have a lot to talk about. Let's just do that. Tuesday, go vote, do your thing. Come back as a normal person, okay? Please, I love you all. We'll be right back.
All right, here we go. So segment 2.
All right. And we said a lot of things at the opening about the politics and all of that. But you know what? One of the things that we forget is that we are electing people who work for us. There's really no need for us to be so upset about things, because what we actually need to worry about is the fact that we are the people. We are in command of the people that get elected. So if we don't like them, we just, unelect them the next time or whatever. But what we need to do is really not make a personal war on anybody, because it's just not who we are. Okay? So take hold of yourselves, go exercise your rights, and then let's get back into the swing of things. Life is so beautiful out there. I mean, the only ugly thing that I can think of right now is that the more I look at Tesla cars, the more I think they're hideous. Boy, I tell you. And now there's another one out there that's competing for the title of ugly. Is the Rivian. Have you seen them?
Yeah, I've seen the Rivian. Yeah.
I mean, every single one of them looks like a refrigerator on the side, and the other ones look like a round blob. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it.
The Cybertruck is the worst. The Tesla Model S, I think, is a sexy car. The Model 3 is but the Cybertruck, whenever I see one of those on the road, it's shockingly ugly.
It's ugly and it's huge. I never realized how big it is, Yeah. I was looking at a race where I come from in Costa Rica. Because of terrain, it allows itself for the off track, in the mud the whole time. Anyway, this guy campaigned on the fact that he was gonna win the title with a Cybertruck. It went over the first mud hole and it died. That's it. That's as far as it got. So I don't know what the deal was, whether all the motors shorted out or it just didn't have the oomph for it. But would you own an electric car?
Well, I think, well, speaking for myself and, my age group, I think that all of us at some point will end up owning electric cars. I mean, that's
you think so?
Yeah, it's just, I think, the wave of the future. They're just far more efficient. They're far more easy to manufacture, less parts, easier to maintain, easier to service.
Yeah, but they don't make noise, man.
I know. But the good part about it, though, Orlando, is that I think that you're going to see the internal combustion car become like your second fun car. I think can see a particular point in time where a lot of people are going to have cheaper electric cars as the battery technology becomes cheaper, and then they're going to have the ability to have, their Mustang or their Corvette or, even their Ferrari or their Lamborghini as their second car. And I think that'd be kind of cool.
Well, I hope so, because you know what? For me, hey, you want to see me happy and happy and happy? Give me a 65 or a 67 Mustang convertible. I don't like the convertible hardtops. To me, it's a soft top, and that's it. I mean, as you get older, life becomes more simple. Where I was a young guy and I was very competitive and I needed this and I needed that, now it's like I'm at that age where my comfort level is a pair of sneakers, easy jeans, and a gyrocopter, of course. Yeah. By the way, yesterday I went to see the target of my next flight. It's a different brand, a different concept altogether, side by side. And it's probably going to happen this coming week. So, I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, so life is beautiful. I mean, if you want a Tesla, go for it. If you want the only thing is, don't knock the fact that I like Porsches and Ferraris.
Oh, of course. Yeah. You know what I really like? So, you talked about, as you age. I like late 70s, early 80s, full-size American luxury cars. You give me like a 78 Cadillac Coupe de Ville or like a 79 Lincoln Town Car, 25 feet long, soft leather, just floating
nice
down
little
the road.
chrome little gear shift lever.
Yeah, the column shifter.
Yeah. I mean, remember when they used to be like very tapered, tiny little thing, like.
And the steering is so light that you can you have your little
Yeah.
pinky with your pinky ring, and you're just steering down the highway.
I remember my dad had a '57 Plymouth, the Fury, and when we first brought it home, we used to see the big tails. The whole thing was beautiful, But then you get inside the driver's seat, and there's no stick shift or anything, just 5 little buttons on the left side of the
Push button transmission.
Yeah. You just sat there, you go, boom, boom, boom. That was so great. And then there was an Imperial that had a clear, translucent type of a steering wheel, but it was not a wheel. It was like a semi-square type of thing that was like so great. And all the chrome. I actually missed that. Is looking at a 59 Cadillac with all the chrome and beautiful,
It's interesting how some of those features have come full circle, because now if you the brand new Mercedes S-Class, they have a column shift. A lot of those electric cars that you mentioned, those have push button transmissions.
Yeah. Well, there's just so much variance that you can have when it comes to driving a car. It's either stick shift or column or a button.
Now that's a question though that I was asking my friend of mine who's a young 4-year-old son, and I wonder if that young man will ever in his life drive a manual transmission.
Right now, you know what? That's the safest car to own that nobody can steal, because nobody knows how to drive a stick shift. Seriously.
I miss it. The first car that I learned to drive on was a standard 5-speed manual transmission, and I don't miss it in traffic, but I do miss that kind of connection where you can have instantaneous power, where you can use engine braking, and it felt like you're actually like driving a race car.
Well, I'm actually looking for a Porsche, the Boxster model, and I've seen several. Because the old Silver Fox needs to be changed, But I want a Boxster, and I want a stick shift. Of course, everybody in the house is going like, rah, 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 except my wife. My wife drives stick shift really well. But my daughters, they're all against, because how are we going to drive it? That's the trick.
That's the point.
There.
Yeah, that's the.
Now you got it. Now you got it. Of course, I'm not too popular in that regard, but hey. Why don't we take a little bit of a break and we come back? And when we come back, we're going to be talking about yachting or sailing.
Okay, here we go. Segment 3, 6 minutes.
All right. People need to figure out how to have fun, okay? Seriously. And especially for us here in California, where we have this enormous coastline, But one of the things that I miss a lot is I had a boat. I had a 30-foot twin-engine boat, and it was a lot of fun. Great. The only thing is that a lot of people used to go like, "Oh, you have a boat? Yeah. Sail or motor? Motor. Well, especially if the people came from back east, it was like, because they're all sailors in there, sailing it. Now, I would love nothing better than to have, of course, it has to be comfortable, nice and long, probably 35 feet, 40 feet, and just put the sails up and just go, I think that would be something that can like bring you back into your soul. You know, it's like something great. Would you take a long journey on a sailboat?
I would not. I would not, Orlando, and I'll tell you why. My grandfather had a sailboat, like a 29-footer or something like that, and we didn't like doing that because we would become the crew, and so he's like, "Oh, pull this rope, go up and do something with the jib and all that." And that was, and he had, most sailboats still have motors in them too, and I'm like, why can't you just turn the motor on and we can cruise around and come back? Secondly, Orlando, a family friend of mine. It's kind of dark, but a family friend of mine, he was a very successful attorney and a professor, and he retired. And his dream on his retirement was to buy his dream boat and sail around the world. And so that's what he did. And the plan is that he and his wife were going to sail from Los Angeles to the French Polynesian Islands. And something happened with some illnesses in the family and logistics. And so what happened is that the wife could not attend right away. And so the plan was he was going to sail the boat by himself from Los Angeles to French Polynesia. And then the wife was going to fly out a couple months later and meet him. So he left on his sailboat by himself. He was never heard from again. So that's have a little bit of trepidation about sailboats.
Well, listen, if that is actually a very dangerous undertaking to do it by yourself, especially if, you may be experienced in, like you say, the topsail or the jib or whatever it happens to be, but you also need to know how to navigate very well, and you need the sea currents very well. There's a lot of, it goes the same thing as when people fly. People think that, I got a few bucks here and there, I'm going to buy myself a, and they're private pilots, and they are not really that skilled at long-range flying, there are times when you happen to be somewhere and you need to recalculate your trip up in the air. You need a little, now there's a GPS, okay, I got that. But not all the planes have the same equipment. So, for me, you give me a compass and a horizontal attitude horizon gear,
stopwatch and a map, and then you dead reckon it.
And I can go anywhere. I can go anywhere. But that's after years and years and years of doing it. But remember that when I started flying, including heavy planes, the big planes, there was no GPS. We didn't have any of that. We flew from waypoint to waypoint or from station to station, and so it was a different thing. But we got used to every bit of problem that could happen, and we had to resolve it. So even today with the GPS, don't think that those things don't break down. Seriously, in the middle of a big storm and satellites stop working too well, or there's whatever reason, you can actually end up having more problems by looking at a faulty screen that is not giving you anything back because you don't know what to do. Well, the same thing goes with any boat, whether motor or sail. You really need to know your limitations. That's the main thing, I think. In your friend's case, I think maybe he was not health-wise, or
that's what it was. That's what it was. It's we there was some pretty disturbing communication from the boat, towards the end, and so there was probably a problem with the water purification system, and buddy system. You want to use that buddy system, folks.
Well, I assume he's passed away. Well, God has him in his glory, so in the meantime, let's just go out and have fun. Try something new. We'll be right back.
Okay, let me just cut this up real fast, then we'll do the rest. Check.
Welcome back to Lifestyle Buzz and CRN, where positiveness is the order of the day. All right? You want to be negative? Go somewhere else, okay? No. We have a show for everybody here. Anyway, to cap off what we were talking about before, about the boat and all of that, the point was that people should find something that drives their passion up a little bit, something that challenges them a little bit. And we talk about boats because boats happen to be a lot of fun. But, it could be anything. It could be just a long drive in a car, whatever. Just find the passion to be free of angst and free of whatever. It just scare yourself a little bit. It's actually good for the soul.
Yeah. Getting outside your comfort zone, I think, is important.
Yeah. I mean, go parachute. I mean, today there is kind of safe. The whole thing, tandem, the whole thing. Anyway, well, the Dodgers won, and New Yorkers want to kill some of their players, I guess. Did you see the last game?
I did.
I mean, one mistake. But then again, that's just about what team plays are all this about. Usually a team wins based on an error made by the other team. I mean, there's nothing new about that. Where I come from, soccer is the name of the game, okay? Latin America, soccer. Europe is soccer. And I have to tell you that there have been some players that have met their demise because of some stupid thing that happened, an accident.
Famously, the goalie for the Colombian national team back in the World Cup in the, I want to say the late 80s, I think.
Yeah. I mean, they get really nasty and violent, I was traveling through England a bunch of years ago, and there was a game between Manchester and Liverpool. And we were in a train. All of a sudden, we had to get out of the train because the Liverpoolians set the train on fire. I mean, talk about like weird, And so, yeah, that's the passion of the game. That's actually one of the things that I feel very strong that maybe it used to be that the referees called the play, and people groaned and moaned, and then people had a tendency to move on. Yeah, people were violent, people were angry, the whole thing. But today with the replays, though, I don't know. It minimizes that.
So you're not a fan of the VAR, of the automatic replays in
No.
the beautiful game?
No.
No.
To me, it's like it's in the field. It's like a battle. A battle. You don't stop a battle to check where the bullets fell on the other side. I mean, you just don't. So I mean, that's just me. I mean, I've gotten used to seeing that. The only thing is that it kind of sanitizes the game a little bit too much for me. Because right now, I mean, like, all you have to do is like, people go through a flag because this guy touched this guy's jersey at such a position that now it's pass interference and whatnot. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in aiding scores that bad. So, but that's me. Yeah. I love the idea of going to the stadiums, but then again, now in some areas, people are still very welcoming to the fans from both sides, okay? But there are places that you go, if you wear a Dallas Cowboy shirt, that you can actually end up getting hurt. The Raiders fans are the same, So, are you a live viewer or a TV viewer?
I'm a TV viewer. Well, it depends. I mean, would I like to go watch amateur sports live? You know, I have a friend, actually a fellow employee here, who's a basketball coach at a pretty highly prestigious, highly ranked high school basketball team. Those are fun games because they feel pure.
Yeah.
And actually, I just heard too that they're going to build a new minor league ballpark for out in Irwindale for the California Angels minor league affiliate team. And that's should be kind of fun. But if it's like I'm not driving down into Dodger Stadium to pay $75 for parking.
I was going to say that the cost of seats today is like what happened to the $10 seats? I mean, you know, like.
Yeah, the average. I mean, it could be a week's salary for some people between the price of the tickets, the price of the concessions, and the price of the parking.
Yeah,
I mean, it's astronomical.
But Michael, everything is like that. Try going to Disneyland. I mean, if you
don't get me started on that.
If you go to Disneyland with your girlfriend or a friend, you can end up being in the $300-400.
Yeah.
I mean, that park has been paid off. Who knows how many?
I mean,
times.
how much money is enough too? I mean, and also the thing about Disneyland too is that it becomes like this, rite of passage for children. So like you're considered a bad parent if you don't take your kids to Disneyland once a year. And so I mean, that's a huge expense.
It is. I mean, like right now. I mean, I really don't know how people do it. Especially like I have a lot of people coming from abroad.
Yeah.
And they want to go to Disney World. They want to go to here in California, Disneyland, and then SeaWorld and Universal Studios. They have to bring, for a family of 5, $10,000 just for those things, you know? So I don't know how people do it, but anyway, now there's a controversy about the Dodger, this guy Freddie
Freeman?
Freeman, yeah. Something about a wire in his, they're investigating something that he had a wire in his uniform. And have you read that?
I haven't heard that specifically, but ever since the Astros cheated their way to a World Series a couple of years ago, I think you're going to see a lot of allegations about cheating, whether or not they have merit or not.
Yeah, I mean, I listen. For me, this is my politics right here. In a game, the players should go out there and give it all in all. Whoever wins, that's it. You know, next season, I guess. You know, I mean, I'm not happy about my Cowboys, but
talk to your boy Jerry Jones about that.
I know. I mean, just secretly, I do yippee-yi-yo the bathroom when I'm showering. But we'll be right back.
All right, just give me 1 second. Check. All right, here we go. Segment 5, 7 minutes.
All right. As you know, I wandered the streets and talked to everybody. And I mean, I try to get the feel of what's going on because we are a lifestyle type of a show. And it's very important always to be in the know of what's in and what's out. And, so I go out and I chat with people at restaurants. I chat people in the parks. I chat people everywhere. And one of the things that I've been noticing is that it is no longer an age thing. This could be a young person. It could be, middle age, older. Everybody seems to have lost that feeling of assertiveness. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah, I have. It seems people are more inward in themselves out in public and, less likely to interact with strangers.
I hear that. I talk to, like I said, I ask questions. So, I mean, a lot of it, yes, about the politics, but I also know about the economy and the cut of meat and whatever. We talk about, I try to talk about everything that we covered in the show. And sometimes I ask a question and I get back, can I? Kind of people answer me with a question, Other times I can be chatting and all that. Can I really do that? Like they're asking permission. What if I can't? Well, what about it? I'm not sure. That is one of the ones that I hear the most. I'm not sure. People are never sure of anything. And to me, that indicates that there is no assuredness of action, or maybe there's too much expectation of making a mistake, maybe not getting the right feedback. Life is a choice. Life is a challenge. Nothing has ever been easy. It's always been a challenge to do anything. I remember when we first bought our first house years ago. When we bought our first house was $110,000. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. I mean, you name it, huge property. Still, we needed to adjust the salary in order to be able to meet the challenge at that time. It wasn't like, well, yeah, because $110. No, I mean, it was still $1,000 where I was paying rent for $600 at the time. So it was like $400 more at the time. So, and then everything, you need to buy more household goods. You need to buy more new refrigerators.
Set some aside for the property taxes at the end of the year.
Yeah. So everything. So what I'm saying is that people should actually feel more like, instead of can I, should be using more like I can. Can I really do it? How about I really can do it? Okay? What if I can? No doubt I can. I'm not sure. I am sure. Just change the wording a little bit and set yourself up for that positive action that is so important today, especially today. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do. I think that a lot of it has to do with how you're raised. And you probably have more insight than I do because I don't have kids. And I think a lot of people who, are very timid and, very reticent to apply their confidence in certain situations, I can speak probably from experience, is that they are raised in a critical environment. When you're raised in a critical environment where, like you mentioned, feedback, where the constant feedback you get is critical, that can, I think, lead people to look inwards more and not, can affect their assertiveness later in life.
I have to tell you from a personal standpoint, I'm barely out of my teens, but it's just the same. Michael, come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, you look great for 39. Let me just say.
I know. No, I grew up in an age where there were no computers. The biggest thrill was when we were able to buy a remote controlled TV that had no wire from the...
That was a big deal.
Oh, yeah, because at first there was a wire that went all over the place, and if mom turned the mixer on, all the stuff would go on the screen, Anyway, so I grew up with no computers. I grew up with no digital cameras. I grew up with a stick shift for a car. I grew up fixing my own first car, okay, because that was the deal. The deal was that you needed to get a clunker and you took it to school, and all your mates would help you fix it and paint it and make a hard rod out of it. But you needed to get your hands dirty. All right. All of a sudden, I run across some friends of mine that the guy was driving a clunker of a car, a Metro car with the 3 cylinders, with one bad, but his son drove a brand new Honda because baby wanted one. So no, I think that people need to live within their means, and then just be real. Do whatever you can. Be positive and be outward. Learn to just go out and test yourself. Why don't we come back in a little bit?
Check. Okay, here we go for the last segment, 450.
All right, going down the checklist here. Let's see, politics. Okay, fine. So we're really right on time here, and time flies when you're having fun. But one of the things that before I leave is that continuing my saga to learn how to fly a gyrocopter, next week I'm going to go and try a new model. It's an Italian model. It's called a Maggie gyrocopter, and it's side by side. I tried the tandem. This is side by side.
Side by side, meaning that you and the co-pilot are sitting directly next to each other, rather than one in front of the other.
Right. And you know what? I was in one yesterday, checking it out, and I think that's the one that I'm going to like, because there's so much more room. On the one that I flew last time was like being back in my fighter days, because it's like tandem and you just control everything, and you're right there, like just pivoting in front of wherever all the action is, But the tandem is a little bit more comfortable, has more room to carry things like my cameras and stuff like that. So, and the point is that I think I'm going to end up trying to make a deal on one that I'm going to be using a lot for what we do here, going to events and stuff like that. So it's going to be like more up in the air with a little toy. It's going to be great. I mean, I'm all excited about it. I'm like a kid. You figure that I should be sitting in a rocking chair playing with my beads, but no.
No, I think it's great. I think people should take a page out of your playbook.
Listen. You know what? I even started a new web page on Facebook. I mean, a Facebook page called Costa Ricats, because I happen to love where I come from. I don't shy away from the fact that I was born there, but I love it here. So, I'm trying to bring my Costa Rican nuisance to the U.S. in a fun way where it's inviting to comments from all over the people from here, from all over. And one of the things, the reasons why is because Costa Rica has become a very attractive place for Americans to move to. they're leaving here to go there. A lot of the grumbling is that, well, things are bad here or whatever. You shouldn't move because of that. You should move because you're trying to look for something that is missing here. Maybe the U.S. is gold. I mean, we are in the middle of a paradise here. That we don't know how to use it is a different story. But to run away to other countries and stuff like that, it's fine. I mean, people need to experience that. Do it because you just want to challenge yourself. You want to try something new, a new passion. But not because you're running away from where your roots are. My dad came over here in 1955. He joined the Army. Then he brought us over. And from then on, we've lived here. And he taught us to integrate into the system. And by doing that, we learn to love the differences of the two places. So, I love my native country. I love it here in the U.S. And that's basically what I'm trying to say. You want to go live in Costa Rica for a few years, whatever, do it. But just never forget where you came from. Because you know what? At the end of the day, you'll be coming back. This is home. All right? So anyway, I guess that's it, Michael. You want to say anything?
Yeah, no, it's a great show. And go Cowboys.
I hope so. Yippee, ya, yo. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.